Hey guys, welcome back to FXF Podcasts. This is your host, Feeling Finos, speaking live from Qatar, Doha. Guys, we have a very, very special guest today. If I want to summarize the guest, he's one of the best rising TikTok stars currently in Qatar. So we have a small introduction for him. So let me just read it out for you. For the people who don't know who I'm talking about Tim ARGANE, aka Mr. Manifest, 20-year-old creative director and an artist, co-founder of PM Visuals marketing agency. And guess what? He found this marketing agency when he was just 18 years old. For me, that's really cool. Okay, he's a creative director, he's a filmmaker, a football connoisseur, content creator on the official FIFA page. Listen, there's nothing much you can do. This is one of the best portfolios you have. So please, without any further ado, let's welcome Tim ARGANE. What's up? By the way, I'm sorry for the very generic applause soundtrack.
No, I love it.
Thank you for coming on. Alright, so the first question is, how are you?
I'm pretty good, not too bad. Busy. This year is crazy. It's 2022, obviously, so
That's true.
everything's mad, but blessed. How are you?
I'm doing great. Listen, the reason I started off with that question is, alright, listen, before we start with the questions, let me just give you an introduction. So, welcome to the show. My name is Mohammed, and we have, for the podcast, we have 4 different parts of it. We have first, the questions, the amazing, cool, super cool questions that my team created for you. And then we have the second, which is the fan-based questions. So the fans on Instagram have questions for you, and we're gonna ask you that. The third part for the podcast is the discussions round. So we talk about things that you're interested in. And the fourth one is the quick fire round. So we just ask you yes or no, really quick, basic preference questions. So good?
Let's get it.
Alright, so let's start with the first question. The reason I asked you how you are, it's because, let's be honest, a lot of people underestimate the work that goes into social media. So the thing is, it's a really tiring process. Alright, so what's your input on social media and how it affects your mental health? I know it's a big question, but that's important, right?
Yeah, that's actually a perfect question, and especially right now in this day and age. I think it affects all our mental health. I think we can see the effects of it on our generation and on the youth these days, with the amount of mental health problems everyone has, the anxiety, social issues, especially after COVID and the pandemic. We're so reliant on digital and social media that I think we forgot about real life and real socializing. We use social media as an accessory, or anything digital was an accessory and additional to our lives, but now it's the core. And that's really tough because it's not real. Social media is not real. Anything you see online isn't really conveying the truth of what reality is like. So I think that's where the mental health issues really can arise, and where it could be a big issue.
I'm not gonna lie. You're 20 years old, right?
Yeah, I'm 20.
Wait, the way you speak, I'm not trying to flatter you or anything. Listen, I'm being just honest. The way you just spoke, what you said right now, it's true facts. You sound like you have way much experience. What I'm trying to come to that is, I'm not a new follower. I'm actually a very, very old follower of yours. I used to watch the videos where you used to post with your small phone, and it's just so cool to see your growth as a content creator, and both just as an entrepreneur too. Because listen, I love your creative workflow, TM Visuals, the whole marketing agency you created yourself. Because the thing is, have you seen a podcast page on Instagram?
Yes, I have.
All the designs and everything is self-created by me, because I love designing and marketing, and seeing your and what you do with the cameras and your talent, just your raw talent, is just honestly really inspiring and amazing. So, no problem. I want to ask you, what's your opinion on your self-growth? Seeing you from your older videos to the new ones you create, and honestly, when I saw you with the bigger YouTubers making vlogs with them, I see your vlogs, by the way, really cool. Do you really see this starting from the start itself? What's your opinion on this, your growth?
Okay, I 1000% saw it, but I think I'm under delivering to my potential 1000%. I think this is what I do right now is 5% of what my potential is, and that's something that could be detrimental when it's when you're trying to achieve something, but it's also tough on your mental health because you're never really satisfied with what you're doing. But I've been doing this since I was like 12. I've been making YouTube videos since I was 12. I've been seeing people rise, seeing people come to social media, seeing people become content creators, become TikTokers. I've been on this for a long time, and I've had a vision this whole time, but I've yet to achieve it. But I'm on the way, and things come whenever you're ready for them. That's my way of staying patient, is knowing that if it's time for something to happen, it will happen. So anything that I do get, I'm grateful for. Anything that I've yet to get, I know that I haven't got it yet because I'm not ready for it yet.
Bro, I don't know how you do this. You just sound so wise. you just like, you speak. All right, so you know what? I can relate to you a bit. I'm not as cool as you. I don't do the work like you do, but I've been doing content from a very young age. And the reason I even started with the mental health question was, with our own podcast, you can see that we took a huge break from like posting videos. It's because, let's be honest, most of the people underestimate the work that goes behind this, especially if you're working alone, producing the whole thing alone by yourself. And I'm assuming you did at the start, it was all by yourself, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. It still is for a majority of it. It's a lot of work that you don't see, and I think people don't expect to be happening behind the scenes.
100%. When I started the podcast, I was like, podcast is easy, and then I was like, that's not exactly how it goes. And I want to speak to you about that. So you said you do most of the work by yourself still and before. A lot of people, including myself, I actually kind of start liking doing my work myself. So what's your opinion? Do you like doing it by yourself nowadays, or do you prefer someone else doing it for you, like the back-end process of like editing?
I think when it comes to the creative part and the artistic aspects, no one that's creative wants to delegate the creative aspect of the work because they see it like their child. Their project is like their baby. You get what I mean? You don't want anyone else to raise it. You wanna work on it yourself.
I agree.
Yeah, but if it's like delegating work that takes up your time or takes up your effort, and if you're financially able to delegate it to someone else and get it done so that you can focus on more of the stuff that you love, I think that's 100%. You should do that. And that's something I think we keep figuring out as time goes, trying to figure out ways to delegate work that we don't want to do and only work on what we love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Okay, one thing I kept that I completely forgot from the start was, all right, I forgot to mention. So we have listeners not just from Qatar. We have listeners from UAE, from most of the Middle East, and from the foreign countries. So what we used to do with the previous guests were we used to ask them questions on just describing their content, what they do, who they are, like a small introduction by themselves. So I'll just do that for you now. So I want to ask, quick question: what type of content do you make?
I try to make whatever content I like consuming. So whatever content I do make, I want to be able to consume it myself. This is something that can be a disadvantage for getting views, and that's something I've never followed. I've never followed the views, or else I would have just made cringe content like most of the other creators here in Qatar and gotten the views.
Ooh,
but that's it. It's truth. But yeah, I think just I like doing what I love and making sure that I enjoy watching it. Mm-hmm. So that viewers that watch it also enjoy it. That's basically my thing behind it. And I also like inspiring people, showing my journey throughout my content, showing the journey of my life throughout my content. That's another aspect of it.
Okay, so from what you said, one of the aspects I really liked about you was the respect, by the way, the fact that you just threw shade and just was just honest about what other people do. That you see competition, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The second thing I really liked about you, the fact that you just said the creative process, I can relate to you. Like when you said your kid is your baby, I just forgot to mention that. Yeah. I feel for every creative part of the content creator, that's the most important part. All the designs, the colors and stuff, that's what most of the people do. All right, so what type of content? It's the type of content that you consume. That's honestly sick advice. I'll be honest here, I've asked the same question to a lot of people. We have we made 31 episodes. We have asked the same question to every single guest. We've gotten a lot of cool replies, but I think this is the first I've heard. It's pretty cool. I like it. All right, so next question: what type of content are you planning to experiment with? Anything new? Any plans?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if I have anything specific in mind. I want to go back to my core, which is trying to do more cinematic content, more short film narratives, sending a message through my content and not really just following trends or whatever, but having a narrative behind each piece of my content and having a message within it. I've been watching Yes Theory a lot recently. I don't know if you know them.
Yes, I love them.
Yeah, and their videos are like, I'd love to do something like that with my own twist on it. Dan Wolf is another YouTuber I watch a lot. So like kind of short film type videos with narratives that actually send a message, and you actually leave a print with your content rather than like a 15 seconds of entertainment and then they forget about you. You actually have a message and you can actually change someone's life with that 2 minutes or 1 minute piece of content.
Honestly, I can't wait for to see you doing something like that. The fact of Yes Theory, I have to be honest with you, I love their work. And what you said is exactly right. The fact that we, our generation, especially my age, everyone I know my age is addicted to TikTok. And the fact that we're so into short span content, it's good. It's what is trending right now, but I don't think it's the way forward, because short span content is just for the dopamine hit. You don't get anything from it. You get a smile, you have some fun, and that's it. Just like you said, you forget the person. But then
I think this reflects on those creators as well, their viewers' attention span on the videos and the effect they have on their viewers directly impacts their own careers or their own social media presence, because they're only going to be relevant for 4 or 5 years until people realize that, until their 7-year-old fans grow up and actually have a brain and then realize their entertainment has no value, and then they forget about them. This happened with so many creators. If you don't have an actual core message or core value, you're going to get forgotten about. Whether you get your 2 million followers, whatever it is, they're going to forget about you. You're not going to have an actual impact. You're going to be 60 years old knowing you dressed up as your mom on a video doing comedy skits. So
honestly, bro, I like your opinion. I like your take. The thing is, we had so many guests on the show before who've done the same thing you said. So to say very politically balanced, I'm not gonna say anything. But what you said, I have to be honest with you.
yeah.
Apologies to everyone else, all the guests, if you're watching. Apologies to you. But listen, what Tim said, there is a point to it, right? Because people who watch your content and what type of content you produce, the people who watch it kind of slowly turns into the content you make. It affects them. So the fact that you said that in a very clear manner, respect. All right.
I'm not knocking it. If you have fulfillment and satisfaction in dressing up as your mom doing a comedy skit to entertain 7-year-olds, cool, as long as that makes you happy. But I'm talking about the long-term realization that you're going to get based on what you do. Everyone's going to want to find a purpose at the end of the day.
You know, when you said long-term, that reminded me of something. You said you had a vision, right? And exposing a vision isn't the best idea, but I do want to ask you something. You're just 20 years old. You have your own company. You are an official creator on FIFA's page. Listen, you're a big deal, right? And you're just 20. So I want to ask you, if your vision is way bigger than that, which is most of what you've done so far is already bigger than most of people's dreams, and the fact that you have more a higher vision than that, can you just give us a small intake on what you have planned for the future? Not the whole thing, because it's better to keep
basic general view, but all I can say is I know the work that I'm gonna put in, and that equals the results I'm looking for. I've heard this a lot on social media recently. The more hard work you put in, the more lucky you get, and that's so true, especially in my life. You just keep putting in hard work, even if you don't see short-term results, something's gonna come up, and you're gonna be like, damn, that was the result of all that hard work. This was my lucky break. But in terms of my vision, I'm not gonna expose anything specific, but I wanna have a legacy that's left behind. Whenever I'm on my deathbed, I want to know I did all that I could to actually have a positive impact, and to keep a positive message for my kids to look up to. This guy put in the work. This guy had dreams and he actually worked towards them. Whether he achieved them or not, he put in the work and he never gave up. And that's there's no monetary value that I'm looking for. The views will come along with whatever you do. I don't really care about the views. I don't worry about them or the followers. I just want to keep that impact and that legacy. That's the main thing for me.
I'll be honest with you. Listen, it's like the amount of times I want to praise you, it may feel like I'm like secretly rooting for you. Like, listen, I'm just be honest to you. As a person who's been watching content and like just hearing what you said right now, listen. Here's the thing: you're a big inspiration to me, and like I'll be honest with you. Like what you said so far, really, really meaningful stuff. Really cool. All right, next question. Listen, I'm trying to move on with the questions so I stop like praising you too much and people stop making fun of me. All right, so next question.
Yeah.
This is related to your growth, and this is related to what you said at the start. You don't look over in the views. So I want to ask you, how was your first few months when you first started making content on TikTok or any platform?
I don't know if I've done this since I was 12, 13. I've been posting YouTube videos since I was 12, 13, so I don't really remember. But all I know is that I was doing it for the satisfaction of watching my own content and being like, oh, that's cool. I made that piece of content. So yeah, that's all I can really say on that, to be honest.
Honestly, that's more than enough. The fact that we were looking for views, the question was phrased to look for views, but then you said enjoy it. That's more than enough. That's enough, guys. Alright, so next question. Since okay, listen, I'm not sure if you consider yourself as you made it, but I do consider yourself you made it because for a lot of people, you just made like most of the dreams they have. So I want to ask you, do you have any tips for new beginners who's trying to be like you?
I don't consider myself as I've made it, by the way. Just a heads up.
I knew it.
But like tips to beginners, more like mental or like actual tips for creatives and creators?
It's all your platform. You say whatever you want. It could be mental advice. It could be a tip like a content tip. It could be anything.
I think be honest with yourself in terms of what you want and clarify it. I always write down vision boards. I write down to-do lists. I always want to see it physically and tangibly and know what's in my mind in a physical aspect. I think just be clear with yourself, be honest with yourself in what you want from this industry. Otherwise, it's going to be an endless cycle of toxicity. And don't get stuck in the BS of this industry, especially content creators and TikTok. Any random Joe Schmo gets thousands, millions of views on TikTok and they think they're something. But TikTok videos that are so stupid, a cat jumping off a cupboard gets 10 million views. That cat isn't a legend now. So people need to like calm down and just like try to stay humble. But the only way you would stay humble is by actually understanding your value and having a bigger dream rather than just looking at numbers. Numbers are so toxic on social media. That's something I get away from, and I think I'm getting the hang of not caring about the numbers at all.
You know, I 100% agree with you, and I think TikTok was like a great way to like. I think the best way to explain the fact that we all like care for views because like for most of us, our first platform is either YouTube or like honestly just YouTube, right? Like the first, like actual platform where you cared about like content. I think professionally it was YouTube, and most of us cared about the views because that was the only numerical way to assess our success, right?
True.
I think TikTok is a great way to demolish all that. Like, is the value of views because let's be honest, you put so much effort into YouTube videos, and most likely you're just gonna get like maximum, let's say 1,000 views, 2,000 views when you're starting, right? And 1,000 views is a big deal. If you're just like a 0 subscriber, just started making new content, that's a big deal. And then at the same time, you put very less effort, do a small dance to a very popular music on TikTok, you're gonna get like 1,000, easy, minimum 1,000 views. While YouTube is just like maximum 1,000. So I feel like what you said is 100% right. Like not caring about the views because views don't really matter at this point. Because anyone, like you said, I'm gonna quote you. Any Joe Schmo can get. I'm gonna quote you, man. Any Joe Schmo can get like 1 million views. So yeah, views ain't important. So if you're listening to this, listen. Views ain't important, alright? Alright, so that's it for the questions because let's be honest, you got really good answers and we don't have the best questions. So
they were great.
Let's move on to the fun questions because let's be honest, the fans are more important. So the first question on Instagram, and I'll be honest with you. Guess what?
What?
Love this question. Okay. The thing is, there's only 2 words in it, right? It's just 2 words. It's why non-Qatari Qatari. That's it. Question mark. That's it. And by the way, non-Qatari is just like one long word. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna just repeat what this person said. Why non-Qatari? Question mark. That's it. Answer.
For the people that don't know, Qatari is like a TikTok kind of page that I opened with a couple of my friends from uni.
I love it, by the way.
Sorry?
I love your content on non-Qatari.
Yeah.
You tested Indians, you tested Bangladeshis.
Wow,
His name, but the Bangladeshi. I love him. The way that he was. Yeah, Nadeem, exactly. Yeah, Nadeem. I love your content. On like the non-Qatari test is like one of the best content. I think my brother showed me your video for non-Qatari. I was like working and then he just came up to me, look at this, it's so funny, and I'm like, oh damn. And yeah, it's honestly, I want to ask you something. But the next same person said is details on the cast of non-Qatari. So before we go into the cast, I want to ask you, what was the inspiration for that idea? Because let's be honest, it's a really good idea. Like, it's a freaking creative.
Yeah, I think if we want to go look at it as, in a deeper aspect, I think there's so many expats in Qatar that lack a feeling of belonging because they're far away from home, but they also don't consider. They feel like Qatar's home, but they don't really feel a sense of belonging here. So just creating that relation between expats and locals, using the language and the dialect and introducing different words and dialects to people. It felt like something interesting and it fits the TikTok algorithm. It was also entertaining to me. I liked watching it, so I was like, okay, if I like watching it, I don't mind creating it. It doesn't seem cringe to me. Whenever we did reach a point of the content kind of feeling cringy or doing it for views, I directly switch it up. And one thing I don't do is I don't just follow any random trend that's going on TikTok. I'm only going to do it if I like it. And if I feel like I'm doing it for the views, I'm going to change it up real quick and try something new. I like the chase. I always love the chase. So it's kind of just like for entertainment, really.
Got it. That's it. All right. Yeah. So that's more in depth on Qatar. The next question, the person asked.
Shout out the guys. Shout out Labib. Shout out Ishan. Shout out Yusuf. Sorry, gang.
Right. Yeah, honestly, that was a question. The question was the details on the cast. So, yeah. You know what? If you provide me their Instagrams, if they have Instagrams, I'm gonna leave for their Instagrams on the description box. So go ahead and follow them. To be honest, they are good. Like, it's so funny to watch them. Like, honestly, it's just sick. Alright. Okay, now we have a next question. I'll be honest with you, it's a really good question. The question is, how do you balance your work life and your personal life?
Oh, damn. I think I've yet to be able to do that in order to give advice for it, because I think I still give a lot more to my work life than my actual life. It could be mentally draining. The one advice I could give is finding a way to alleviate yourself on a daily basis. Have a hobby, have a habit that you do that really takes off the stress and gets your mind off things, gets your mind off work. For me, recently, it's been the gym. I started going to the gym, and that's been like completely like it's been a game changer for me mentally. Really get stuck in a rut when you're just working. And obviously, when you started your own business, you're going to be working not a 9 to 5. You're working from 24/7. So at any time, something could come up, and your brain's always operating about work. So I think setting priorities, time blocking your day, but it's really hard, especially if you're in like around our age coming up. You really want to give your everything to work, but you shouldn't forget about your actual life and your memories.
Bro, I'm just like, I don't know what to say. You pretty well. Good job.
I feel like I need to actually figuring out a way to balance it out though.
I think one of the so from what I've heard from so far, I think one of the good things about you that I've noticed so far is that you're self-aware. So the fact that even though you just told yourself that you're not balanced, and I think that's a good trait for content creator.
Yeah.
I do need tips on. So I want to talk about businesses, but after all the questions, because let me be honest, I was stalking your entire TM Visuals page. I just love everything you produce. That place, it's amazing. So let's talk about that later. But for now, the next question is from the same person: is for how long have you been working in the entertainment career?
Oof. Like, what was the question again? One more time.
It's how long have you been working on your entertainment career?
Okay, entertainment. Since I was 12 when I opened up a YouTube channel, but yes, literally since then. I got a laptop. When I got a laptop, I was looking at my sister making. My sister was the one that made YouTube videos before me, actually, and I was looking at her make YouTube videos. And I was like, damn, that seems pretty fun. But I was too in love with football at the point to even care about technology. Then I made like 2 or 3 skits on YouTube. One of them is a Mr. Bean skit at like 12 years old. And I edited it on her computer with her help and then posted it. When I got a computer, I just started teaching myself how to edit. No one ever taught me how to edit, taught myself. My dad's the actual professional editor, but he never taught me. He let me go on the journey to figuring it out myself. And I appreciate that because when I tried learning it myself, I actually ended up falling in love with it and trying to improve out of time.
You know what? I just want to highlight what you said right there. Like self-learning, actually, it's not just helpful for yourself because you're learning yourself. You're not like disturbing or like asking anyone else. But at the same time, learning it yourself, the effort you put into that topic makes you fall in love with that topic.
That's true.
Just you, when I started, no one taught me editing, and then once I started slowly making my podcast. And just like you, the thing is, I'm able to relate to you a lot. So when I first did it, I was like, it's kind of cringy. So I switched it up into making a podcast. And what is it called? No one taught me, so I started learning myself. And then once I started learning myself, just like you said, I fell in love with making.
Exactly.
I think the one thing you should take away from that is the listeners, if you're listening. One thing you should take away from that is the importance of self-learning. So, next question. How do you deal with negativity in any form, like judgment, self-doubt, negative comments? That's a good question.
That is a good question. There's no need to even stress about negative comments or whatever, because I think all that's really easily avoidable. And like, I don't think anyone actually holds value in negative comments anymore. As long as it's no one you actually care about, why would you care about their opinion? As long as you know who you are, you shouldn't, I can't swear here. You shouldn't care what others think about you. But
by the way, just sorry to interrupt. You can if you want. By the way,
I love that.
Go ahead.
In terms of self-doubt, that's one that's tough because your brain is all you have, and your brain should be your like space of peace. So if your own brain is doubting you, it's gonna affect what you make in the end of the day, and it's something that we all deal with. I made a video about this, I think, like a year ago, about being in a creative block and about like how self-doubt affects you, especially in the creative field, because you can't be creative with negativity in your brain. I think self-awareness is 100% important when you're coming to self-doubt, because if you're aware of your positives and your negatives, you're aware of where you fall short, rather than doubting yourself, you'll be able to work on those things. And knowing how good you are, not being arrogant, but being confident and knowing exactly what you have to offer, I think clears the doubt, because you really know your positives and negatives, and you're able to like polish your positives and improve your negatives, get them out of being a negative.
I like to mention don't be arrogant, but be confident. Like that. I think that's a really cool thing.
I've been arrogant my whole life.
That's
because I'm competitive and confident, but I think that's natural if you're trying to win in any industry, especially the creative entertainment industry.
Actually, you know what? I want to dive into that, but right now the questions. I'm not gonna lie, all the questions were kind of related to the same topic, self-doubt. The rest of the questions, and you kind of answered pretty much all the questions. And like 50% of the questions were just like why non-Qatari. So you pretty much answered all of that. And there was another like, have you ever had self-doubt? And you answered that. So yeah, I think the questions from Instagram are over. Thank you for the questions, fans. All right, now that's the third part of the podcast, which is what was the third part? It was discussions. I'm so sorry, I'm really rusty right now. So the discussions. All right, so I want to go back to one of the things you said, which were the creative block. As a person who you said that you love the creative process of content creation. So you've experienced creative block, right?
Yes, 100%.
How long did it take, and what was your solution to it? Because I really want to know this.
Yeah.
I'd love to know this.
I think it comes along with burnout sometimes. Creative blocks could be literally one day, and they could also last 2 months. You really never know. It depends on your mental state and where you are in the creative process. It happens to me really when I start focusing on the monetary aspect of creating content, or like of my work. I start focusing on the monetary and the financial aspect. That's when I really get creative blocks. I think my brain realizes I'm doing it for money, and then I don't want to do it anymore. I don't find any passion in it anymore, because this whole time I've only been doing it for the love of it and not for the money. So that part kind of gets tough when you start making money off of what you love. What you love becomes a job, and then that kind of thing could be a little tough. That's why you always have to kind of follow your passion, and you gotta go short on some financial incentives that you're gonna get. You just have to be very smart with it. But a creative block is bound to happen, and you need to get yourself out of that rut, because it could be stuck with you. I feel like some people have strayed away from the entertainment industry and the creative industry because of a creative block, not knowing it's a creative block. They just think, oh, this isn't for me. The creative industry isn't for me. Being an artist isn't for me. Being a musician isn't for me. I can't think of anything right now. I'm going to go and do this or do that. But they don't realize they can get back out of it because they had that passion one day. And that passion doesn't just... Passion isn't fleeting. Passion isn't a fleeting emotion. It's there forever, as long as you're able to identify it.
By the way, guys, anyone who's listening, just like take a book and paper at this point. Just like note down all the cool stuff he says, right? Because trust me, I was just listening to your answer, even though I was focusing on your answer, I can't stop like wondering, like, how do you get these very quote-esque opinions?
I read a lot of books and I consume a lot of self-help content. But okay. I read books and I like note down what I feel applies to my life from certain books.
Okay, now that's actually a really cool thing. All right, so guys, if you listen, if you want to be like him, if you want to sound cool with everything you say, read a book. Just read books, guys. Right. All right. So for the discussion round, I have so many things to discuss to you about because you're so cool. I want to keep. So the one thing I'm really interested in is your business, the TM visuals. But that part, for me personally, that's the best. So I want to keep that towards the end. For now, I'm going to go into the things that you like. So one of the things you said that you liked were storytelling.
Yeah.
So do you want to start with storytelling, or do you want to start with something else? You started making music, and your music is actually good. Like, I'll be honest to you, I'm not like, again, guys, if you're listening to this, I know it feels like I'm like trying to like being very supportive, but like, guys, I'm just being honest. It's actually good. It's okay. Can I be honest with you? Whenever I hear TikTokers or like influencers start making music, it's most of the time just for the fame. It's most of the fame or the name or just the fact that they can add I'm an music artist on their bio, because honestly, most of the music they produce isn't the best. So I was going with I'm being very honest with you, I was going with a very biased opinion of you probably having a very kind of bad music. And then when I was hearing it, I was kind of surprised that it wasn't that bad. It's actually good for someone like you who just just started. It's actually
a beginner,
Yeah, just like if you put in the count that you just started, then it's really good. As the music, when I'm comparing this with every music I listen to, it's not bad. But for you specifically, you just started, it's really good. So you want to talk about your music, or do you want to start with storytelling?
I'll talk about music because I think it ties into storytelling. The only reason I started music is I think I found it as a new way to tell my story, and to same way as what I do with my content, to inspire people, to send a message to people. I found a different medium to do that, and that was music. If you listen to all my lyrics, every single lyric has a meaning. I'm not talking about girls, drinking, drugs, or traveling.
Notice that, yeah.
I'm talking about my journey, specific things that relate to my life, and the things that would motivate other people. So that's really why I started music. My first couple songs, they're still on Spotify. I'm not going to delete them because I like showing progression in everything I do. They're ass. my music was trash. I knew that I couldn't do music, but I was like, okay, I know I can't do music right now. If I don't start and try, Next year I won't be able to do music. The year after I won't be able to do music. So what's the point? Let me give it a shot. And one of my friends, he's an artist here at Qatar as well, Amro. His name is Skids. I used to go to his studio once a week, 2-hour session. Each time I have some lyrics ready, some beat, and then we just hit a session directly. And with every week I was improving. And whenever I see that improvement, I love it because, again, I love the journey. I think the thing you said about influencers being like starting music and stuff like that, influencers in this whole entertainment industry, it's very ego driven and they're very centered. I think the lack of purpose is what really does that, because they just want to fulfill their ego to tell themselves that they do music now or that they do this and that. They don't care about the quality of it. They don't care about how they do it. They just care that they did and that they get the name for it.
I agree. I 100% agree. All right, so the fact that you said, like, when I was hearing your music, I was wondering, because you had a style, and I was kind of expecting you to talk about girls, cars, money, and stuff, because the music had that style, that like very groovy style, and I liked it. And then I was expecting it, but then nothing was there. It was just like pure lyrics, and I was like, damn, it's not what I expected. Like when I was listening to new music, I was kind of surprised with the quality of it. So yeah, keep it up. Your music was the newest one, really good.
One thing I can say is my music is better than Andrew Tate's trash music.
Wait, Andrew Tate makes music?
He did, and he did literally what you said, like an influencer trying to make. He made a song called Sugar Daddy, and his voice just sounds absolutely horrific. Andrew Tate, I'm glad you're blocked on Instagram.
Actually, wait, okay, first of all, that's just way too much information for me. Relax. Wait, Andrew Tate made music? Whoa, okay. You know what? That's good, right? Because I want to also talk about just like the whole TikTok space. Because I just made this topic right now. So I had a list of topics to talk to you right now, and I just typed this in because when I was listening to the whole podcast right now with you, I was like, you sound really wise. You kind of sound like you know a lot about the whole social media and your generation. So I want to ask your opinion. Can we agree that the social media right now is kind of messed up? Like, not the people who make the videos, but the fact that the audience is so, like, how do I say, emotionally attached to what they see on social media. Like, what's your opinion on that?
Very broad topic. I think social media is messed up, but I still prefer this to what it was before, because before the media and content was always selected for us. The audience never got to choose what they want to consume, and a narrative was able to be pushed wherever they could do it. The issue is now, even in social media, where we think we run the algorithm, we think the audience is in power, we know that there's still people behind these applications and social media platforms that are still pushing a narrative. People are getting blocked for giving their certain opinions on social media just because they disagree with the majority or with whoever's leading the world at this state. It's a very harsh topic, but I think this is the worst social media has been in terms of what it has to offer to people, because there's so much confusion. There's such ease of access to views and ease of access to large audiences with a lack of credibility. That's the best way I can put it. You can be the least credible person and still reach the masses with no correct sources or citations or references and still send your message across, which can be very, very dangerous. But
that's the type of answer I was expecting from pretty much everyone. It's that when we say social media is bad, everyone just goes to the straight answer. It's like, it is bad, it's just bad. But what you said was right. It is bad at the same time. It is good comparatively what it's like since what it was.
Yeah.
So it's better, but still bad. Could be better.
Exactly. Yeah. It's quite tough.
It's on the question I asked you. I'll be honest with you. It is kind of broad. It is kind of hard. But I just wanted to see what your opinion was. And yeah, people like Andrew Tate. Just what you said was right. Like, it's good that they do get blocked because let's be honest, the content creators, like the ratio of age there is right now, the amount of like very, very young people, like kids who watch and use and consume social media is on the rise. Always.
Yes, but I don't think it's good that he was blocked.
Actually,
I can go on further if you'd like.
Please do. Go ahead.
I think I think Andrew Tate shouldn't have been blocked, because I think we talk about freedom of speech all day long and how everyone should be able to express their opinions, and social media is so open-minded to everyone, all types of people. You get what I mean. I don't need to go on in that way, but it's open to everyone to share their opinions and their views on life. But as soon as an opinion comes that strays away from the masses and where society's headed and where the narrative is, suddenly they get blocked off of social media. What about freedom of speech? We should have all sides of the spectrum. If we're going to have an extreme on this end, an extreme of, I don't want to go specific, but an extreme on this end, we should also have the other extreme in order to make the balance when we consume this content. Otherwise, it's going to be just one narrative being pushed, and I feel like that's more toxic. We have people like Cardi B, Doja Cat, giving the worst lyrics ever on music, telling girls how to rob men, speaking like sexualizing women, objectifying women, but they're allowed to be on social media. And a guy who has his negatives, I'm not saying he doesn't have his negatives, he could be a shitty human, I don't care, but he's giving a message of self-help to men, and he's the one that's gonna get blocked? Yeah, I find that weird.
Okay, when you said that, I kind of agree with you right now, because I feel like, so here's the thing, I don't consume social media that much, and I know a lot of people don't believe me on that, but because every time they open Instagram or anything, it's all my friends, right? They all follow me, but they keep seeing my own content. Honestly, here's the thing. This is the reason I could relate to you, is because I love the creative process, so I like creating content, so I just post it out, but I don't consume media, so the social media I do consume is very narrow. So the only thing I used to see was like some clips of Andrew Tate, and like the exact opposite from some of my other friends who post stories like Andrew Tate is a bad guy, sends bad message. So I feel like once you said that, I don't have a right to kind of judge him, because I don't know what kind of content he actually makes. So what you said, I do agree. Freedom of speech is needed.
Yeah.
I do agree. Alright, so in that case, I want to start off with the best topic for me personally, is your business. I don't know where to start, honestly. First of all, big fan. Secondly, why, when, and how. This is the 3 quick ones, but it's why, when, and how.
Alright. At 17 years old, I had to choose whether I wanted to continue on with football or actually pursue my passion in creative direction and content creation. And that's when I kind of decided to double down on this. Doubling down on this, I didn't want to go the way all the influencers go, because I kind of have a more long-term vision. I want to do something more concrete. I want to build a multinational corporation that has actual value as a corporation and not just as a personal entity. Inshallah. That's why I started Team Visuals. I co-founded it with my business partner Mo. And we kind of decided to just go against all odds, 2 individuals, independent, against a lot of multinational corporations, and see what we can do. See how we can be on a fight against them.
If it was Goliath, honestly, when you say it like that, it sounds really like even more cool. Like a small guys versus the big. Let's go. Listen, here's the thing. I'll tell you one thing from what I've seen so far with your content. It's been really good. Like the style, like I can see. Here's the thing. What you said, I like the fact that you still post your old content. You don't remove it. The fact that you see your progress from your can I be honest here? From your worst state to the best state, that progress is just honestly amazing. Because I'll be honest with you, a lot of people who make content, once they pop off, they start deleting the older ones.
Exactly. That's toxic for the youth that are watching on, or for other people that are looking upon it, because they think that you just became like that directly. Exactly. They don't see where you started, and that's not helpful at all. That's not motivating at all.
Yeah, there is the rare exceptions of some people being on an overnight success, but the truth, the majority, 99% of people, content creators who are successful, is they went on a journey, just like you. You started from 12. Let's be honest. Just like you, I'm pretty sure you're aware of Logan Paul, right?
Of course.
Did you see one of the documentaries where he mentioned he actually started when he was like 9 years old?
Yeah, I've seen those videos.
Yeah, most of the content creators started when they were extremely young, and let's be honest, they just delete all that and put the most famous ones. and it kind of pissed me off, but you are right. It's good that you put all your stuff so we can see the progress, and your progress is amazing. Alright, so we're not done with your business, but I do want to ask you something. You made it from football to business, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I am kind of jealous. I am definitely jealous because work is amazing. But I want to ask your parents' opinion. Is that okay?
Yeah.
What was your parents' opinion when you decided on either choosing between business or football? What was their insight? What was their opinions? Yeah.
I think my parents were well prepped with what I'm gonna do because since a very young age, I already told them I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start something where I'm the boss. That's all I told them since a very young age. They didn't know what it was. They didn't know what was gonna happen, but they knew I had the vision in my mind that I'm gonna follow, and they're not gonna be able to really change it. But I really value my parents' opinions, so whatever they do say, it does stick with me. And my dad and my mom said a lot about football and how like unreliable it can be as a way of living. Because if you just get an injury, you're done. Especially we're in Qatar, we're not in Belgium or England where you can actually pop off and become a superstar. It's kind of harder here. So I would have still gone for it if I didn't have filmmaking and creative content. I think it was just two passions, and one over the other one just because of the challenge I saw in it. I didn't see a big challenge in football because I knew that I would be able to make a first team in Qatar with no doubts. And that's just confidence, not arrogance. But I saw a bigger challenge in actually trying to build this creative medium. So I think that's why I went for it. My parents really didn't mind what I was going to choose. They just wanted me to get a bachelor's degree, and I got it for them. That's the thing for them.
That's great. It's nice to see that parents were supportive. That's cool. Alright, it's also kind of funny that you mentioned that you told your parents from a very young age. You sound like you're set for life, bro. The fact that you had a vision from a very young age, that's cool. Then you mentioned something about football in Qatar. How long have you been in Qatar for?
We moved here when I was 3 years old. I was born in UAE in Abu Dhabi, so basically my whole life.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Alright, so in that case, I don't have much to discuss with, but I do want to ask you, because you sound like a person with cool opinions and pretty sound discussions. Do you have any topics that you want to talk about so that the people listening can learn a lesson from it?
Let's see if I can give one message.
Yeah.
I would say build your opinions in life and on yourself based on your actual experiences, and take your time to form your own personal opinions and outlook on life without having the impact of other people or without having the impact of media involved. Take your time for yourself. Know who you are. Life hits you hard, and life moves extremely fast. You're not going to realize it until you're 20. You're not going to realize it when you're 30. So take that time, find the structure that you can build where you can work on yourself once a week, twice a week, so that you really know who you are. And I think that'll like set you up for a positive life where you know who you are, you know your values, you know your morals, and you know what you want to do in this life.
Sounds great. That's a great message. Alright, so now before we end off, and by the way, it's been 50 minutes for the recording. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see that 50 minutes going by. It was really quick. Alright, so the final round. A quick fire round. We ask very simple, quick yes or no questions on what you like, what you don't like. It's just very simple. Alright, so first question is, since you're a content creator, do you prefer iPhones or Androids?
iPhone, easy.
Easy, yay, let's go. Alright, so next question. Again, since you're a content creator, what do you prefer, Mac or Windows? I know the answer.
Oh, Windows.
Whoa. Wait a minute. I did not see that.
I was a MacBook kid, but for editing, I need my HP Omen as an editor.
Okay. I did not expect that because most of the content creators are used to just using Macs because of the software. But by the way, in that case, if you use HP, what software do you use? Adobe.
Yeah, Premiere Pro and After Effects for editing.
That sounds cool. That's good enough. That is really good. All right. Next question. Since you're a musician, right? I'm trying to like relate the questions to you. Since you're a musician, what's your go-to song right now? Not your favorite song overall, but like you're going up right now. What's the first music you're gonna play?
Are You Not Entertained by Russ featuring Ed Sheeran. Absolute banger.
Okay, sounds good. Let me add that to the description box and let me add to my playlist.
Oh, yeah.
All right, next question. Favorite country you've been to? Morocco. Let's go. That's where you're from, right?
Yes, sir. No doubt.
Hey, let's go. You know what? Actually, since you said that, I want to ask you something. It's a request. So you speak Moroccan, right? You speak the Moroccan language, right?
Yeah, I speak Moroccan.
100% sure that you have a Moroccan following. So, to anyone who's listening to right now and is a Moroccan, you want to say any Moroccan message right now? A quick.
كدايرين لاباس ديما مغرب وديما طنجة للقويرة الصحراء المغربية. That's it.
Hey, I like it. Damn, I like the sound. Damn, that's sick. Alright, sounds cool. Alright, next question. Favorite drink?
Ooh. Oh, I'm a Pepsi addict, man. I'm addicted to Pepsi. Karak, bro. What am I talking about? Karak. All day, every day. Karak.
Oh my god. Yeah, let's go. Alright, Qatar is the best, man. Let's be honest. Alright, favorite go-to place in Qatar? Like for food, bro.
For food?
Yep.
Did you say for food?
Yes, for food. Yep. Not tea time.
Not tea time.
Because let's be honest, tea time is...
Oh, maybe Maison de Sushi. I like sushi. Maison de Sushi has some good sushi.
Oh, you like sushi? Alright, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, also, yes or no? So, anime? Yes or no?
Okay, let's do it.
So, do you like anime?
Anime? That's a no for me.
Oh my god. I'll be honest, we had so many guests who were so into anime and I just don't like anime. I just don't see myself watching anime.
Yeah, I can't either. But it seems interesting. I see why people love it, but I'm just not an anime person.
I like the dedication that these artists put into their work. Good job, but not for me.
Yeah. You hear my dog in the background.
Yeah, you have a dog? Ooh.
Yeah, he's crying right now. He wants attention.
Dude, send us a picture of your dog. I'll put it right now on the screen. Everyone's you see it.
I got it.
Alright, but okay. Oh my god, one of the questions in this round were dogs or cats, but I'm assuming you're gonna go with dogs.
No,
alright.
He's gonna bite me right now if I say cats.
Alright. Okay. If you were okay, I can't speak right now. If you were have to had one food for the rest of your life, any food item, what would it be? I can't speak.
Oh, any food item. I would have couscous, Moroccan couscous.
Wait, I need to, you know what? For anyone who doesn't know what this is, I will leave an image of this on the screen.
Yes, it's amazing.
Alright, okay. I can't wait to have it then. I think this is it. This is it for the whole podcast. Thank you for
It's been a pleasure, bro. You're a great host.
Thank you.
Job. Keep this going.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, man. Honestly, thank you for being on the show. I'm so sorry I'm screwing up because I can't speak.
You're good. I appreciate you.
So happy to have you as the first guest on our return. And I wish you good luck. I see you as a huge inspiration. And just keep going.
Yeah,
all right.
Much, bro.
Allah, see you later. Good night.
See you.
Peace.